Hooligans! We back with another episode of the Hooligans League podcast. And this time, we on the road. We taking this trip on the road. This is probably going to be a pretty quick one because I don't have my full setup at the moment. But it's going to be a fun one. I'm in an especially good mood because my team officially no longer sucks. So let's get into it. Let's not waste any time. It's time for the Week 9 episode of the Hooligans League podcast. Let's go.
Best in the business when it comes to a quarterback sneak.
Let's go! 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 Let's go!
Let's go. Let's go. Week 9 already. Pretty crazy. I got some like mean glares going on. I don't know if there's anything I can do about that, but we making it work. Feels a little different. I don't have my headphones on. I don't got all my equipment. I feel like I'm off my A game. But my team is on their A game, so I could give two fucks. This is also the first time in a while that I'm only covering 1 week, so I'm feeling nice and easy from every perspective. So this episode is going to be as clean of an episode as we might have all year. And then we get to finish the episode by just celebrating the fact that we have locked in our trade party house. So this is a good one. We surfing, we riding this wave. We just having fun. We getting through week 8. We get into week 9. And then we're counting down the days to the trade party. So let's keep going. It says lots to discuss, but there really isn't. There isn't lots to discuss because we're killing it right now. We got week 8. That'll be quick. We got the league standings. We do got a little shakeups there. Nothing too serious. Then we got week 9 preview and the trade party. So we'll jump right in.
It's time for a weekly review.
All right, so week 8. Week 8 was definitely a fun one, at least for me. I enjoyed it. Median of 127 on the lower end. Definitely had some low scores. Couple high scores, but nothing too crazy. But some interesting matchups. So let's talk about that. All right. For the first time this year, I got to say I put a beat down on somebody. Well, relax. I know it was an exciting time of week 8. I got my phone as a mic right now because my tech is again being faulty every time I try to record on the road. It gets weird, but we are okay because I dropped 170 on Jimmy 2 times his head. Might as well start calling him Jimmy 3 times because I've beaten Jimmy 3 times, twice in 2 trades, and then once right now. That was unnecessary, but I'm excited. I haven't won weeks in a row all year. This was kind of a revenge game for Hopkins because of the trades, and it was looking like it might actually pay off for him. Because London mysteriously just decided he wasn't going to play. But it didn't matter. I replaced him with R.J. Harvey, and then R.J. Harvey got 3 touchdowns, which is ridiculous. And then the rest of my team just did work. For the first time, I got to chill on a Sunday night and not even care about Monday, and it was glorious. So that was fun. I beat James by 43. Next matchup was not a blowout at all. It was a shootout. 155-143. Rick beats Jovi. Rick been on a heat. He's quietly becoming pretty fucking scary. Just week after week, he beats people, and either in blowout fashion or it wins money. I don't know if we've been giving Rick's team enough credit. I've been mentioning that his team feels underrated, but they're not slowing down. So good shit, Rick. Good shit, Jovi. You just got unlucky. You were the 4th highest scorer of the week. Scored 143, and most weeks that gets you a dub, but not against Rick. So sorry, Joe. Then we had Dan Santola was in third place going into the fourth place, and then Andy, who was 4-10. Both teams really needed to win to kind of keep his distance on the rest of the league. Andy to start climbing in close. Andy pulls out the dub, 136 to 124. Much needed. Much needed. He's now 6-10. He's not in the bottom three anymore. He's climbing. And he's going to have to keep climbing if he wants to make the playoffs, but he is trending in the right direction. Dan took, I think, a small step down, but he's still 500. And most of the league is below 500, so it's a good spot to be. Then we had the matchup of the week, at least the most discussed matchup from the week. We had Caveney versus Silverman, which normally would just be a mismatch of all proportions from a projection standpoint, but because Dan had 5 players who averaged like 75 points in total on bye, it was supposed to be a close match, but nope. Caveney continues his historic piss poor pathetic performances, has another week that is below 70 points. Loses by 45. No bueno. No fucking bueno. And it's fucking bullshit that Dan gets to play Caveney during that week. Like, he texted me about, he could have done this to maybe got the meeting. You were the 11th highest scorer of the week, and you got to win. I've scored 130 something and got a loss this year. Joe V just scored 143 and got a loss. There's in no world should Joe V score 143, you score 115, and you both go 1-1. I want to hear about your first world problems, Dan. Fucking your 13-3 record. Tits. Asshole. But just keep beating everybody. I make the playoffs, so if you keep beating everybody, that'd be great. Thank you. Next matchup was Dick versus Radler. Two teams really needed a win. They were both 7-7 going into the week. Pretty low scoring matchup, not as low as Dan and Caveney's, but pretty low. Dick wins by scoring 127.6. Radler only scores 115. Not the most exciting matchup, especially if you're on Radler's end of it. Boba, you're okay, bud. I promise. And the last up was Chow versus Chris. And Chow gets another dub, as he has just been doing. He's just kind of cruising. Getting dub after dub after dub. Beats Chris by 30. I thought they were friends. They play on softball teams together. So, guess he didn't want to take it easy on him, but that's how it rolls. So now let's talk medians. We already talked. Joe V put up a good number against Rick. Couldn't get the win, but he did get the median. And Silverman obviously did not get the median win, despite his win against Caveney. Cash prizes. This guy, first time all year, I finally got some money. $20, first place. That's cool. Rick, $10 to you. This is like your 4th prize, maybe, at this point. At least 3rd. Kind of racking them up. But let's get to my favorite part. The survivor pool. Going into this week, there were only 5 of us left. Andy, Chow, Dick, Dan, and myself. And of course, Dan was eliminated. Only scoring 115 points. That's not gonna cut it. I don't care if you had 5 players on bye. I don't care how good your team is. For the survivor pool, you fucking sucked, and you're out of here. Now, you're still in first place. You're still probably going to walk into the playoffs. You still might even walk into a first round bye. I don't care. Been there, done that. We're talking survivor pool. And I don't know if the other guys were thinking it. I was thinking it, but I said, we need Dan to go for us to have a chance. And Chow is easily the best team out of these 4, but we all have a chance to win the survivor pool. This is not Dan's competition to win. It's probably Chow's. But then after that, it's any man's game. So thank you, Dan, for drafting all of your team on a week 8 bye. Now we have a chance. Thank you, Dan.
Let's look at the season standings.
So now let's talk season standings. There's been some changes. Top is still Dan. And in second is still Rick. He's on a 6-game winning streak. Damn, he was 6-4, and now he is 12-4. Okay, Rick. Okay, Hooligo. And then Chow is still in third. So nothing has changed there. The only thing that changed was Dan got a little closer to Rick, but that's it. In the 4th spot, now we have a new name, Dicky. He's on a 4-game winning streak, 9-7, jumps up 3 spots. He's now in 4th. He went from out of the playoffs to a 4 seed. That's tough. Santola went from the 4 seed to the 5 seed after going 0-2. And then this guy right here is in the playoffs for now. Not 500, still 7-9, but I got enough points to put me in. I'm on a 4-game winning streak. I climb up 3 spots to the 6th seed. Hallelujah. Then we got Chris. He fell down 2 spots, 7-9, tied with me and Radler. He's the 7. Radler's the 8. Both of them are on a 4-game losing streak. Not fun, not good, not pretty. Then we got Andy jumping up to the 9 spot. Big time. 2 weeks ago, I was in 12th. Andy was in 11th. Now he's in 9th. I'm in 6th. We're on the climb. Jovi's in 10. No change there. Hopkins falls all the way down to 11. It's not fun. Not fun. But at least you're not Kaveny, who has lost 10 games in a row. He was 4-2, and now he is 4-12. So there's that. Not going to pick on you, Kaveny. Your team is picking on you enough. We'll just leave it at that. All right, so prizes. At the top for seeding, nothing changed there. Dan still 1, Rick still 2. We just talked about that. Most points, Dan still 1, Chow still 2, but Rick has entered the conversation. He is now a contender for most points. He's about 111 behind Dan, 112. Survivor Pool, we've already talked about that. That's me, Chow, Andy, and Dick remaining for that $60 prize. And then best week, it might not last long, but I'm going to celebrate it while it's here. I am leading the pack with 170.6 points for my week 8 performance. As a reminder, we have a best week prize for weeks 1 through 7, and then a best week prize for 8 through 14. I'm leading that second prize. Now, would 170 points have won? Wouldn't even came close. That might have been like the 4th or 5th highest score in the first half of the season, but I'll take it. I am leading the pack right now. For money, yes, I've joined the pack. Got my first prize. I got $20. Now Dan Santola, Joe, and Kaveny and Radler are the only managers who haven't won a penny yet, with Dan being the ultimate loser because he owes a 30-pack. But Rick won another $10 prize, bringing his total to $40, bumping him up to 3rd in money earned so far this year. And then, of course, Silverman's still our leader with $70. And then Andy in 2nd. So the money's getting flushed out, but we still got weeks 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 6 weeks left of cash prizes to be given out. So plenty to go around. Next, we'll talk good old Fab. You might remember that last week, I pointed out that Andy Dalton transaction looked pretty suspect. It was pretty questionable. And it was proven to be very questionable. It was $21 wasted. Hard. Or was it 22? I don't even remember. Too much. But we're going to talk about this week's Fab. And there really wasn't many transactions to talk about. Really, only two significant ones. Chris paid $22 for Tyler Show. I don't even know how to say his last name. Chris is well aware of my opinions on this move. I think it was not good, at least questionable at best. He gets his fifth quarterback and spends $22, which is all of his fab. Could pay off. If he has a great week and shows that he's not the worst quarterback in the league, then who knows? Rattler was willing to pay 18. I bid 16. So it's not like, people didn't want him. 6 different teams bid on him, but we'll see if that was the right move. TBD. And then Rick spent $6 on DK Dyke. I don't know how to pronounce his name either. He's had a couple good weeks in a row. That Tennessee offense is not great, but he seems to be doing his thing. It's not like Rick's trying to make this guy a full-time starter, but if he keeps performing, then $6 could end up being a steal. I don't think Dan needs a wide receiver, so yeah, this is probably a pretty nothing move, but it was the only other move that could be discussed this week. So I'm trying to make content out of it. Should have just left it out, honestly, now I think about it. So we'll move on. Injuries. There's been a shit ton. There's going to keep being a shit ton. And we're going to keep talking about them. Two big injuries. One massive one to Andy. Cam Scaboo, done for the year. His ankle, his foot, it was pointing the wrong direction. He ain't coming back. He's done. It's a big blow. Big blow to Andy. Big blow to the Giants. Big win for me because I got Tyrone Tracy. And then Hopkins. Hopkins sees another one of his running backs go down. Quinshon Judkins, one of the most exciting rookie running backs of the year, probably second or first, really, depending on who you look at, to Cam Scatterbo. He goes down with a shoulder injury. Not sure how long he'll be out. He's on bye this week, but it's a big blow to Hopkins. If it's more than a 1 week injury, it's going to put him into some trouble. Besides that, we had a bunch of other players who were banged out. Chris had Pacheco get banged out after shooting for him. Rick has Josh Jacobs, who's questionable. Charles Diggs, questionable. London, who's questionable. Chris also has Flacco. I'm sure there's a couple more, but that's just fantasy football. There's tons of injuries. And you can fix your team after an injury. Make some trades. Make some motherfucking trades. And trades were made. Trades were made by one manager. This was out there wheeling and dealing. Chris made 3 trades last week before the games started. He trades he trades Kincaid and Kenneth Walker for DJ Moore and Pacheco. Pretty clean trade. I liked it for Chris. Before Pacheco got hurt, I think I'd rather have had Pacheco over Walker. And I would definitely rather have DJ Moore over Kincaid. But Chad needed to end, and Kenneth Walker does have some really big upside. So it's pretty clean trade. I definitely would have given the win to Chris, but Pacheco's injured, so that's no fun. Rick finally was able to get rid of Cam Ward. I'm going to guess most people in the league have received a text from Rick asking if they were interested in Cam Ward. Everyone said no until someone finally took him. And Chris did. And all he had to give him was a dude from his IR who hadn't played all year, who really hasn't been good since like his rookie year. Christian Watson, and a little bit of fab. But then Christian Watson has a great first game. So it seems more likely that Rick will actually play Christian Watson than Cam Ward. But yeah, I guess with that said, Rick probably won the trade, but Cam Ward's probably more valuable than Christian Watson. So I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out. I'm just happy they're not blockbusters. And then the last trade that Chris made was he traded Malik Washington for Dalton Schultz. Pretty nothing burger, if you ask me. The funny part about this is I'm pretty sure Caveney then dropped Malik Washington. And then Malik Washington had an okay game. So Caveney essentially just gave Chris Dalton Schultz. But then again, I think most teams could afford to just give away Dalton Schultz. So, a trade's a trade. I support all trades. They're just not much exciting with these trades, but they're happening. Keep them happening. What are you eating? Rick? Or should I call you?
I'm Pickle Rick!
Time to do your transaction tracker. I really hope this quality isn't as bad as I think it is. I think my mic is not working with this iPhone mic. I can see the camera glitching a little bit. We're going to make it happen. This one's for you, Rick. 61. You're averaging about 10 transactions a week. Actually, a little less than that. We need you to kind of start picking up the pace. We need you to pick up the pace a little bit. But you're easily going to break 100. But we're just going to keep monitoring it. Keep monitoring. I'm not even going to tell you who's in second place right now because I don't care. Let's talk week 9. Week 9. We're almost in the double digits for weeks, which is scary. That means we're close to playoffs, which means we're close to the fantasy season being over. I got Ovi first. He's projected to beat me. I'm going to 96 and 10. I finally entered the playoff hemisphere. Jovi's trying to get into it. I got some big names on bye: Igbuka, Barkley, Devonta Smith. It's a good week to play me. I'm definitely nervous. My projection's not bad, but a lot of teams don't have many buys and have some really good projections. So it's not looking like a great week for me, but I'll see what I can do. Then we got Rick versus Hopkins. Rick is projected to beat Hopkins' ass. Holy shit, he's projected for 141 points. I don't know if Hopkins did his lineup yet. Just had a technical difficulty there. Hold on. Are we back? We're back. Just had a technical difficulty with my mic. But we're back. I'm not going to harp on Hopkins' projection too bad, but Rick is projected to beat that ass. And he doesn't even need a win. He's 12-4. He's feeling good, but he wants more. Rick wants more. Hopkins needs it bad, and it doesn't look like it's going to be the week for him, but we will see. Dan Santola, you might need to update your lineup. You're projected for 66 points. That can't be accurate. If so, then rather, you're a lucky SOB. You're projected up third. You're projected to literally double Dan's score. Dan's 8-8. You're 7-9. This is a really big win. A really big week for the both of you. See how that one plays out. You got Katie, who's just on a historic tear, in the worst way possible, going against Chris, who's 7th place, just in the edge of the playoffs, needs a win. Both teams obviously need to win. No one needs it more than Caven right now. So see how that plays out. Then we get our matchup of the week. We got the two best teams in our league. The one's the number 3 seed, Dan Chad. They haven't played each other yet. They are both projected for over 150 points. Dan's projected for 156.8. Chow's projected for 152.7. Both of those numbers are insane. I have 1 week where I've scored that many points. Yeah, that's a big week. I mean, Chow beats Dan. He potentially takes over first place. This is a fun one. That's a fun one. And then we got Dick versus Andy. No, Andy will not race him, but he has to play him this week. They are both projected for about 130 points. So it's going to be a close one. and he absolutely needs to win. He's trending up. He's trying to sneak in the playoffs. Dick had a big jump last week. He's 9-7. He wants to finalize his spot in the playoffs. I feel like they should have a side bet. Andy loses, he has to face Dick at the tryouts. What do you think? I don't know. Never agree. So why bother? All right, so power rankings. A lot of movement this week. It's the first time we're doing just a normal algorithm. Still needed some commissioner adjustments, but we are gonna have some fun with this. So first up, we have a new number one in the power rankings. Chow takes the top spot. Chow is top 3 in every single one of these categories. Last week's power rankings, he was 2. Current standings, he's 3. Last points, he was 3. Pros 9. I think he's 1. Pros rest of the season, he's 1. He's Mr. Consistent. He wins, scores a lot of points, and his team does well in the analytics. Dan had a bad week, so Chow takes a spot from him. Chow's not in the top in the standings, but the algorithm said he deserved it, and I agreed. We will put Dan at number 2, though. You don't fall from number 1 spot in power rankings more than 1 spot simply because half your team was on bye. It's not enough. The power score actually had Dan at the 3 spot, but I had to step in. He's in first place in the standings. The only reason why he fell this far because he was 11th in scoring because half his team was by. He's number 2 in fantasy pros this week, number 2 rest of season, number 1 in the standings, number 1 points scored. I mean, he's basically top 2 in every single statistic except for last week's. So he doesn't fall far. He goes to 2, and he'll probably be back at 1 next week, assuming he beats Chow. Next up is Rick. It's official. Rick's team is not overachieving. They are not overachieving. It's been too damn long. They were underrated. Rick's team is good, maybe very good. And I think we're just watching another hooligan performance. Think Patrick Mahomes. This poor offense last year. They go and they get wins. Tom Brady all those years. People were doubting him and he get back to the Super Bowl. Rick is doing hooligan things. He's not lighting up fantasy. He's not destroying the league. But he's sneakily just getting the job done week by week. And we're not even at the trade deadline party where the hooligan does his damage. So, it's official. Rick underrated. He's back. We got me. I'm not sure my spot at 4 is going to last. I'm on a 4-0 winning streak. Fantasy Pros says that I am the third best team rest of season. But I have some killer buys while I'm playing some decent teams in the next couple of weeks. Or at least teams who don't have buys. I got Saquon, Devonta Smith, and Agbuka on bye this week. Next week, I have at least Dak Prescott and maybe someone else. It's going to be probably a tough rest of season for me. But for the time being, I'm a top 14 rankings, and I will take it. Fantasy Pros actually still projects me to miss the playoffs, but fuck them. Fuck them. Dickie, we have you at the 5 spot. You're definitely a mix of skill and luck. You got the median by like 0.2 points last week, and you also played an opponent who didn't score many points. You easily could have won 0-2. Very, very easily could have won 0-2 last week, which would have put you really far down in the standing. So didn't know how to properly rate you. Put you ahead of Chris, who's next because of your standings. You are 9-7. Chris is 7-7. But Chris is further down in the standings than I am. Me and him actually have similar power scores. But realistically, Chris is just waiting for Daniels to come back. That's hurt him a lot. So the 4, 5, 6 spots could shift very easily. Very, very easily. We'll see how long this actually lasts. Then we got Dan Santola, who's 8-8. He's 500. He has a right to say that he should be above me and Chris, but he's second to last in points. He doesn't score points. He just has the least points against, so he gets wins. He's 500, but I have more points than him, and he has more points than him. Almost everybody has more points than him. So it's very hard to evaluate the team. I didn't want to push him too far because at this point he is definitely projecting to make the playoffs. His team is going to need to turn it off a little bit. 80, according to the algorithm, should be the second spot. We give him the 8 times, even though he got another injury. Loses Cascado. That hurts a lot, but he went 2-0. So he's figuring it out. He's making it work. He climbs up the power rankings, he climbs the standing. His team gets worse. That probably doesn't make sense. The fantasy doesn't make sense. So that's it. I didn't figure you. I can't figure your team out. You dealt with a lot of injury. I look at your team. It looks really good on paper, but then you just fall down the standings, fall down the power rankings. Getting healthy, so maybe things will change, but I don't know. I don't know. I literally didn't know what to say for you. So that's it. Yeah, I can't just win games. Just your tab. You are clearly just a victim of your schedule. I also could figure your team out and looked at points against, and you have passed Andy in points against. No manager has had more points scored on them than you have. Makes sense. Makes sense. This past week was a perfect representation of your season. You scored a lot of points. You still lost. We can't a full on pity party for you though. Your team still needs to perform even more. If you're going to win, you're going to make the playoffs, but you can blame the schedule. Now this week you get to play against me with a bunch of players on bye, so maybe that schedule problem is turning around. We'll have to see. Hopkins, you're just getting another injury. You can't get a break. You have 2 running backs who are injured. Looked at your team, everyone's on bye or injured, basically. If it wasn't Caveney being so damn bad, you'd probably be last in the power rankings. Caveney is so damn bad that you don't have to worry about that. Caveney has had back-to-back weeks under 70 points. He now owns the 9th worst week of all time and the 10th worst week of all time. Over his last 3 weeks, Caveney is averaging 75 points a game. Caveney is 0-10 in his last 5 weeks. This is a historic run. I can't even see where this falls in the history of our league because there's just so many data points that are adding up to this is just piss poor pathetic. But I gotta assume that this is the worst run ever. If not, maybe there's one other one. It's the top 2 worst run of all time in our league. Caveney. I wish I could tell you how to fix it. The solution was trade Bucky Irving. I asked if you trade Bucky Irving the first week he got hurt. You should have said yes, and that would have been my problem. Definitely should have traded him. Definitely should have traded Lamar. Now they're back, and you're far behind. I don't know. Hopefully, they can come back and just turn your season around. It might be a little too late. So that's the power rankings. Those are the power rankings. I'm just happy to be in the top 6 for once. I bet I'm out of the top 6 next week, but we will see. Tyrone Tracy might be my savior. knows. Okay. So now it is time to talk trade party. So, as you all should know by now, we got our trade party house. It is locked in. We are splurging. It is more expensive than it has ever been. But we have the best house we have ever stayed in, even better than last year in Chatham, Massachusetts. Look at this damn thing. Look at this property. And I don't know if anyone's thinking what I'm thinking, but I'm seeing that fence, right? And I'm feeling like, I don't know, is that an eighth of a mile perimeter? Seems like the perfect track for Rick and Andy to race. Just throwing that out there. But this is our property. We have the main house. We have a nice backyard that will be hanging outside too much. And then the fucking barn. We've updated our barn. It's not even close to the original barn. This is going to be the greatest trade party weekend of all time. Let's talk the main house first. Giant, big, open floor plan. Some of us were saying that that was like the most important thing for the house. Well, we got it. Our kitchen is very big, very nice. Even has tables and a bar. But we could literally hang out in the kitchen. There's a fucking giant TV in the kitchen. We can hang out here if we want. Those who are cooking are going to have a great time doing this in a room that is basically bigger than our first trade house. Connected to the kitchen is this giant, nice living room with this beautiful leather couch, a dining room table, another TV. We're cool, we're cruising, we're having fun. In this house, there are 4 bedrooms. We got one with a king, its own master bathroom. We got 2 with twin bunks, 2 with twin bunks, and then 1 bedroom that has 2 full beds in it. Everything's nice. Everything's new. As Rather found in his research, this house was built like 2 years ago. 2 years ago. The main house is fucking awesome. We had a great time. This was the only house we had, but it's not even that. We have the barn. And the barn is literally, it's going to be the greatest trade party venue in the history of trade parties. So this barn, you go on the first floor, and it's game room. We got air hockey, football, shuffleboard, full bar with a TV, a bathroom. It leads out to the pool where outdoor things are. Then you go upstairs, and you have basically a full-blown apartment. You have another living room with another giant comfy couch with a big TV, with a dining table in the back, and then a kitchen on the end. And the kitchen has a sink, a dishwasher, everything you need, multiple fridges. So we're going to need coolers. Cool. Then you go upstairs, and there's 2 bedrooms with a full bed. And oh, I forgot to go back downstairs. First, there's another bedroom, the queen bed. We are cruising. In total, 7 bedrooms. We're back. Technical error. In total, 7 bedrooms and 9 beds. Yes, 7 bedrooms and 9 beds. So we are golden. We even got, the outdoor. I can picture Rick bringing Andy out by that fire, talking trade Jonathan Taylor details. Good little trade hangout spot. We got the hot tub. We got a sauna. We got a beautiful, beautiful Blackstone, grill with the skillet, another grill, a coffee bar. We got everything we need. Okay. This place is sick. I am glad we're splurging. This is going to be an excellent weekend. We're not going to need to go anywhere. And I cannot fucking wait. Check-in will be at 3:00 on that Thursday. Everyone who's filled out the survey so far has said they're going on Thursday, which is fucking awesome. Fill out the survey. We do only have 8 parking spots, so we will have to carpool. Absolutely have to carpool. I messaged them about parking today and got the 8 spots limit, and that's a little disappointing, but we will make it work. I know Dan and Rick are flying, so they're not driving, so that that brings us down to 10, but then Sean might come, so then maybe that gets us to 11. So we do need people carpooling. So fill out the survey. The 3 most important questions on there are golf. Are you down to golf? If so, which days? So we can plan that. Rick, thanks for calling the golf courses and kind of taking charge of that. The carpooling, got to answer those questions so we can figure it out. I'll help facilitate. And then I'll probably be in Boston Thursday morning, so I could pick up Rick and Dan if needed. I'll talk to you guys offline about that. And then the podcast segment. I obviously spend a good amount of time preparing the podcast episode for that week. Last year, Dickie was the first ever guest appearance with self-driven content on the podcast. I'd love to have others participate like Dickie did last year. So if you'd like a segment during the podcast, let me know. If you want slides, I'll tell you exactly how you need to do it so I can add them in. If you don't want slides, maybe you want to bring your own paper slides. You don't need shit. Doesn't matter. Put it in the survey. Fill this out ASAP so we can plan shit accordingly. There's also questions about meals and trade deadlines and a bunch of random shit. I don't even remember at this point, but fill out the survey. And then we will get to planning. That's all I got. Andy, race Dickie. The league wants it. Joe V, I hope your team loses. And Dan, fuck you. All right? Peace out.
You want to play games? Okay. I'll play with you. Come on. Okay. Do you want to play rough? Okay. Uno. Say hello to my little friend. Okay. You want to play rough? Okay. Yeah. Okay. You like that?